Joe and Reese's Pickle Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joe and Reese's Pickle Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of the Pickle and Boot Shop. We have a very special guest today. If you watched the Netflix documentary, I still don't know the name. I keep calling it Twister, but it's not Twister.
With the S.
Twisters.
Yeah.
And then it's about the Joplin, Missouri tornado that was catastrophic. One of the stars from that, Cecil Cornish, is with us today to talk a little bit more about his story, to dig into it, because we fell in love with you and your story. And I think it's fantastic I want to dig more into it. Now, I don't know if you dug into us, Cecil, but we growing up, you're about 10 years behind us, 10, 15 years behind us. Reese Roper, my partner here, he sings for a Christian ska band called Five Iron Frenzy. Maybe you've heard of them. They're pretty much the biggest thing since Sliced Meatloaf. And I sang for a band called the Insiders, another Christian ska band.
That's
Back
our whole
in the-
podcast. Is just
That's the whole thing.
I love that.
We've
it was
based our
yeah.
entire
It was like a couple months of us swapping tour stories, and then we ran out of them. So then it's just us shooting the shit.
Nice.
yeah.
So
And it basically, we will try not to do this with you. We're gonna try to respect your boundaries, but usually we devolve into fart jokes, pooping stories on tour, like weird places, our bowels that weren't well. And so we have this like kind of weird little community of all these people that were kind of raised in like 90s youth groups, 2000s youth groups, that may have walked away from the faith because of the way that they were treated, because of just things that they just don't feel connected to anymore. Reese and his band, he has, bandmates that have kind of, changed their ideas and things like that. So that's kind of what this community is. It's based on, this love of Jesus at some people a point in their life. And then, like I said, they moved away, but they still come back to here because, again, we were kind of their childhood. And then we have this page on Facebook. It's called the large title of this podcast is called Joe and Reese's Pickle and Boot Shop, a diabolical brainwashing machine. And so on Facebook, there's a companion page called the Diabolical Discussion page, where people kind of go on and talk about what we've, blabbed on about that.
Nice.
And so a lot of people there connect again through their past, through, hey, I used to listen to this band growing up in youth group, or I went to this place, I went to that place. So that's kind of who we are and what this podcast is here.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm sure, you were looking for your insider shirt to put on. I'm sure you've gone
have
to all
you
our
heard
shows.
of our bands? Or you're like, not at all?
If you guys played me music from them, more than likely, yes. Because my two older siblings were in youth group.
Yeah.
And they're your same ages.
We had
So,
that
like-
one song that was like, with heart wide open, and it was like,
Yep. I'm Baptist. I grew up singing that.
yeah, well, that was us.
Yeah.
We sang
Joe's band was like,
our biggest hit was
and now you do
it went something like this. Maybe you've heard of it. It said, and something like that, along those lines.
Something like that.
Yeah. I'm dripping with sweat. Today was 85 degrees here in Detroit.
It's hot
I'm
here today.
upstairs in my little podcasting room, no AC. So as we talk, I'm going to continue to wipe my brow.
You're crazy, man.
But Cecil, we don't want to waste your time. We want to get
man.
into this so you can get on with watching Cardinals games or going to the Badlands. I don't know what else is in Missouri. I don't even know what the Badlands are.
It's all Badlands.
It's all
Okay.
bad.
So
I think that's why
I'm
people
gonna
love it
kinda-
so much.
is the Ozarks in Missouri?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Oh. I saw that show. I saw the first few
Yeah.
seasons, and then I forgot to watch the rest of it.
Oh
The
no.
funny thing about that is whenever I was filming with Netflix, they were like, have you seen Ozarks? Is it really like the TV show? And I was like, I've never seen it. Not an episode.
Did you
And
watch it afterwards, or you still haven't
no,
seen it?
I'm
Okay.
from here.
Yeah, you don't want to
That's
see
like-
it.
That's like asking somebody from like Las Vegas or like New Mexico, like, have you seen Breaking Bad? They see Breaking Bad every day. I see Ozarks every day. Like-
yeah, but do you see the seedy underbelly of the
Yes.
Ozarks? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, then. All right, I'm gonna give this brief history, and then you're gonna fill in any cracks that you want people to know. But just, ladies and gents, as you're listening to this, if you have not followed our encouragement to watch the documentary, again, Twisters, the story of
Twister, the Twister caught in the storm. Isn't that what it's
Yeah,
called?
so-
yes.
Cecil, Bill Paxton, and Helen Hunt starred in Twister.
Uh-huh.
That's a horrible inside joke between Reese and I. I told him
So wait to watch it. And I was like,
I
which
told
one
him to
is
watch your
Cecil?
document.
Is he
Yeah.
Bill Paxton?
Yeah. So he's been
And Bill
been
Paxton.
really milking that joke for a while. So anyway, you guys, the background on Cecil here is I'm going to give you the quick background here, and then we're going to actually get into the nuts and bolts of this. But on May 22nd, 2011, Cecil was a high school junior in Joplin, Missouri, named after Janis Joplin. That was the first place where she picked up a harmonica. They named it after her, which was basically the buckle of the Bible Belt in America. A crazy weather pattern spawns one of the largest, the number 5 largest tornado in U.S. history. You're working at the Cherry Berry Froyo. The Cherry Berry Froyo, when this thing hits, and then people can watch the rest of it as to what happens there. But the story ordeal is documented in the Twister Caught in a Storm. However, I put here, it's the story within the story that drew me to you. And my first question that I have for you is your introduction. The first time we see you in this documentary, you say a powerful, powerful statement. You say, I love Jesus and I love God, but I wasn't sure if his people loved me. Take me through that statement. Take me through that mindset that you were where you were when you said that, thinking back to your childhood. I want to hear this.
So I started going to church when I was little. My parents like always had me in church. They stopped going, I think I was 4. Long story short, they had like started going to a Pentecostal church, and my mom was doing meals and my dad was doing construction, and they came to our house once and they're like, you're going to tithe. You're going to tithe. And my parents were like, we do with our time and our food and all of our tools. So my parents have gone to church. So my parents have never been to church with me other than like Easter and Christmas after I was 4. Like a Sunday church, even like Parents' Day, my mom's like, nope, not for me.
Because
So-
of that? Like she totally quit, or she just quit the faith?
Like it was so off-putting.
I would have too, though. 'Cause
Yeah,
my mom at the time,
no.
she had 4 kids, and the man that like came and basically accosted her for money, like the week before, said he couldn't like help with something that was like going on in my family. So like my mom's like, we're struggling and we already pour all this into you. Why would I ever go back to a place that could happen again? And she had a lot of trauma, like from church growing up. Like she was in Navy, like my mom's whole side of the family is Navy and military. So they were very like in the faith. But whenever I was 4, we just stopped going to church. And then my sister, she was in high school at the time. I was like, she would go Wednesday and Sunday every week. And I was like, I want to go. Like, this looks like fun. So I started going to youth group and I loved it. It was so much fun. I did crafts for VBS. I did like youth leadership. Like after I was like 14, I used to do Sunday school with like the middle schoolers when I was in high school. And it was like by myself. Like my parents didn't push me to go to it. Like whenever I would hear other kids like complain about church, they'd be like, yeah, I have to get up. And I'm like, no, you don't love it. You don't love to go. And I like not missing so I never missed a Sunday whenever I was growing up, basically. And if I did, people thought I was sick or they knew I was sick.
Yeah.
But like going every Sunday though made the door open wider for like weird grown men to say weird things around me. You know what I mean? And one of the biggest things was like, I think I was 13 and my family, my mom moved around a bunch. My dad military. We're like an all white family, but my parents are very like cool with everybody or like other religions or like not very judgmental. And one Sunday, I'll never forget it because I felt so weird. Um, this man was talking about, I'll never forget his name either, but he was an interim pastor and he was speaking about how Muslim people were destroying our country. And then I didn't know what that meant because I was 14 and I
Sure.
lived in Joplin, Missouri. But like in that same thing, he also talked about like being gay and like men that are attracted to men. And by that point, I was 13, 14. Like I had known I like wanted to be around a boy or have like that companionship, not in a sexual way, but just like I just enjoyed the company of men more than I did girls, like ever since I was young. And like hearing that as a kid, I was like 14. I was like, this man literally hates me. And I'm 14, just in like ninth grade. And I'm like, I'm ruining the country. Like that's like everything I took on. And like I was like, okay, so if this man hates this and everybody's agreeing with him, I need to like push this so far away down, like deep as far as I can, or like they'll know I'm the devil. And ever since his sermon, I would have, and this is why I'm pretty like open about like religious trauma and stuff, because like there's small things like that, like hearing a sermon that's like so against like Jesus's like will or like want for his kingdom to like grow and be healthy and be like positive, because you're not going to change somebody's mind if you're hateful to them or you say that what they're
Correct.
doing is going to disravel like the country. Like
Sure.
1000%. Yeah.
you're not going to get them to believe in Jesus or get closer to Jesus. You're going to just push them away. So like I used my like gift of discernment since I was young, but in the very like same way Jesus like questioned everything growing up, I did too. I was like 14 and then I was like, somebody would say something like, that's not right. I would like, somebody would say, yes. Since my youth pastor my senior year called me a fucking jackass because I said that somebody that was with us was doing medicine, like sleeping medicine, and they were going to overdose. And he said, you always cause drama. You're a fucking asshole.
And he said, he
I'll
called you a
never-
fucking jackass?
Or a fucking asshole.
In
He
front
said,
of
I'm
everybody or like
no,
off to the
just to
side?
me, which makes me even realize more that in his heart he meant it, and like he knew it
Yeah.
would like affect me. But no, so like that happened when I was 14, and then high school starts. That's hard for everybody. Like no matter
Hey,
if
I
you're
got
gay
I
or
got a question.
straight.
Was this the same church that your parents had left? Did
No.
your sister continue going? Okay.
Okay.
So
No.
you had this bad experience at this one church, and then you started attending where your sister, which was a completely different church, but sounds just as great.
Yeah, it was great. No, this same church though that I like, because my thing is my parents also taught me that you don't have to necessarily go to church to be a follower of God or like be religious or spiritual.
Yeah.
But I like ever since I was young, my parents did say like churches are like a vessel. Like you go there to feel the spirit, you go there to like fellowship. And I was raised with those like Christian values. And it was good until it wasn't. And it wasn't good my junior year. So I was like, to myself, I was like, I'm gay. Like, I know I'm gay. By that point, I had a boyfriend. And before I start this story should have been in the documentary. Because like, I remember them like recording me and like repeating myself over and over about this.
Oh, you got
But-
to say it and then cut it out?
There's a lot of things that they cut out. They also
That's
cut
what
out
the
that I
pickle and
saw,
boot shop is for.
angels.
What?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay,
But no,
dude.
so this was like 3 weeks before the tornado. Long story, way abridged. I went to a Southern Baptist church. We would do lock-ins. We had like about eight youth like leaders. So you're in high school and you helped with middle schoolers, you helped clean up, you helped like with events. And there was an event we had that like over 150 kids out of whatever. And our youth pastor, mind you, 350, 400-pound man, was like, you boys go pick up the chairs. And we were like, okay, there's 4 of us and like 150 chairs. So I went over to one of the girls and I was like, hey, can you help us move these? And I was like, whatever, we moved the chairs. This is important. So the next week, Wednesday survey, which before I say anything I'm about to say, I could have reported these people to like children's division, and I should have, because I work with children's division now. I was 16. My parents were never talked to about this conversation, but it was just after youth group. I was ambushed by our deacons, which were all lawyers, doctors, very like prolific, wealthy men, community, older.
Yeah.
They sat down with me, and then they sat down with our pastor and then our youth pastor. And they're like, I'll never forget my pastor saying, "You know why you're here, don't you?" And I was like, "No, I don't." Like, I have literally no idea. Because I was like, anything that I'd done, like had a boyfriend, any of that stuff, like, no, none of my friends had ever repeated that. And they didn't.
Okay.
What the big problem was with like the pastors and the deacons, it's that I asked the girls to help us because they were so traditionally, conservatively like Christian. And I will never forget that either. I was 18 and these girls can't pick up their own chairs or I'm going to hell. So that started. And then as these men, like, just, I don't know, the best way to say it, just like aggressively like ask me questions. One of them was like 50 plus and started talking to me about my sexuality. Inappropriate, disgusting, to do with a minor. I was 16. And like and thinking back on it, like there's still times whenever like somebody will say something or do something that like triggers that in me, like how those men talk to me, that now I have to remind myself, like, you're fine, like you're okay, like these people aren't trying to hurt you. But like as a 16-year-old boy, mind you, there was 9 deacons and then 4 people in my youth group, 2 boys and 2 girls of like our leadership team came to condemn me too. And then one of them said, one of my peers, my like youth peers that knew you guys cussed earlier, so I'll just say it. Like by this point in my life, I wasn't a virgin anymore. Like I had a boyfriend, I was sexually active with him.
Yeah.
Like my mom knew, like I used protection, like I was safe, but I was like going into that, but like it wasn't like a big thing everybody knew. But one of the girls in the youth group was like, "And are you going to tell them about how you kissed the boy next to the creek?" And I was like, "What?" I literally went, "Huh?" I had sex down a dirt road last week, but I didn't kiss.
Oh
I didn't kiss next to a creek. Literally, I had some crazy weird sex down a dirt road, but not like literally. And it just grossed me. Like, so did these deacons, and they were like making up this lie, and I'm also so proud of my 16-year-old self. I just let them bitch and talk and throw a bunch of weird scriptures at me. And then I went, "Are you guys not bored? Are you guys bored? Like, are you guys bored?" And then I was like, "I'm a junior in high school, and this feels like you guys are wasting your time." And I also said, "This is the first time I've ever seen any of these deacons in the youth room, ever, which was probably for the best. But I'm in the culture, but baby, I've been in it. I went to Falls Creek for like 10 years. If you guys know what Falls Creek is, of course you did. You probably performed at it. Falls Creek.
Probably.
You look up Falls Creek. It's America's largest youth summer camp.
Probably Joe's band, not mine.
But no, like, to get your viewers back, because they're listening to this, to answer you guys' question, I stopped trusting Christians to love me or to accept me because they don't even trust themselves or love themselves, and they like to make up lies. And if I start talking about it too much, I'll start getting really heated. But like, I do think like in Revelation, whenever it's the end times and no one knows like who the Christians are, I do think we are there. I think we've been there for like 200 years. But that's a whole other
like
thing. But
2 presidential terms.
200
with
years?
one in the middle that maybe no, like 2 presidential terms with one in the middle where you're like, maybe this is okay.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
All right, Cecil. So what I just want to, like, I don't want to derail this, but so what I'm hearing is,
please.
yeah, no, so like you knew early on you were gay.
Yeah. I was like 9,
but
that's
like,
normal though.
But you loved church.
Yeah.
You were not out at church, and just because it's Southern Baptist in the South, and they just could never get it, and may never ever get it. But like, how like in your mind, what are your thoughts? Like, you know Jesus, and this isn't what they're saying is not what you do with the love of Christ.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, I grew up in poverty. I grew up, if you can name a type of government assistance, I was on it. I don't think we were on welfare ever, but like we were on like everything, like the housing we had, whatever we had. And the thing that was like the most constant in my life, like there was one time where my parents, my dad, he is disabled and he like couldn't keep a job. So we had to move out of a duplex. And when I was 14 and I lost all of my clothes moving there because my dad had left the tailgate of a truck open and I had no
Oh my
clothes when I was
gosh.
14. So, and I like got to my new apartment, which was like Section 8, which was already shitty. And I was like, and I don't have any clothes either. But I remember anytime I've ever felt bad or had like a bad thing happen to me, I know like I can just rely on, and for me, whenever I think of religion, I think of Christianity, I think that it's, and no offense to you guys if you think this way, but I think that there's a lot of like separation between like meditation and like believing that like the universe will take care of you and like Jesus and like Jesus loving you or taking care of you. And for me, I think it's to thank my mom. Like she's always taught me that like listening to the universe is the Holy Spirit. Like meditating is like talking to God or feeling the Spirit. And like that's why like that's always been my life. Like no matter what bad thing I've been through is like I can like turn to Christ and like sometimes I do read scripture, but most of the time I just like talk to God. It's like I did that ever since I was like little. But like, and it's helpful. And it's helpful to me no matter what situation I'm in, and no matter how much these people could like, in St. Louis, they would say, play in your face. No matter how much these people like fuck with me, like it's not going to take away my love for Jesus because like, I don't care about them. Like I care about my own personal life and my spirituality and my like, connection to the other side. And like, I think that's one of the reasons a lot of Christians aren't in their church anymore is because like, it's like assimilate or you're out. And there's like a lot of young adults that are like in their 30s that are like, I gotta work, I gotta meet up with my friends, I gotta go listen to music, I gotta eat food, I have to go do whatever. And then you think of church and like more than half of my friends that are like millennials are like, ugh, pedophiles. That's literally the first thing they say, which I think is true, which sucks. But that it does suck. But the thing is like I'm going on recording saying this. I've said it multiple times because I'm very open about it. But and you can look up it's not easy to find one of the first Baptist churches in Joplin, you know what I mean? But like the youth pastor there was so gross. Like he showed his genitals to us. He talked to us about sex a lot as children.
Jeez.
And it was just, but also every Wednesday, I'd respect him. And I'd watch all the adults walk past him and shake his hand and him feel good and him be praised. And then now as an adult and I work in youth social services, he was a groomer. He also said he met his wife when he was 24 and she was 14.
Jeepers.
And she was such a woman. I was 14 when he gave us that speech.
Jeepers,
It was the first time he ever spoke to our church.
That's
very strange.
It's weird it's weird when people have that, I'll call it like the veil kind of pulled down, and people who have had like you're touched by the Holy Spirit where you see through all the garbage. And so for me, I was this youth group kid, like grew up like average Christian kid. I can't even remember when I accepted Christ because I was so little. And I just kind of grew up and that's what it was. And church was what it was. And when the talk of homosexuality or whatever would come up, I always thought to myself, like, well, like they're just people, like it's people, like whatever the issue is in this world, we're all together. Like we all have something. We're all different from the next person somehow. And I never quite understood it. And so it was always like a topic that I never delved into. And when people wanted to have that conversation, I just stayed out of it. I'm like, I can't speak on it. I don't know anything about it. Then I kind of get into high school kind of do that whole thing. And, they call it like the naughties, like the 19 naughties, and it was always like, hey, you're
Porn.
gay,
Being
you're
gay.
gay. And, and gay jokes, and like the funniest jokes were always the gay jokes and stuff like that. And I was always same thing, kind of like this. I don't know why this is funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm saying these jokes, and then you get a little bit older and you kind of go through all that stuff in the church. And then I've said it on our podcast before. I'm 48 years old. When I was 34, I got divorced, and it was a complete blindside to me. And that crushed me. And that took me to a place where all the stuff that I had learned about being a Christian my entire life, don't do this, don't do that, like, don't swear, don't drink, don't this, don't that. When you're sitting in a living room and you're by yourself because a judge has said you can't have your kids on that day. You get your kids 50-50, and that was the 50 that you couldn't have your kids, and you're alone in your house and nobody's calling you anymore. And all you have to rely on is God. You start to realize that all that baloney in the church is just that.
Yeah,
and that's where I don't know when I accepted Christ, but when I was 34 years old is when I remember, I don't want to say I got it because it's a learning process every single day, but that's when it clicked with me that it was like, all this nonsense is just that. It is nonsense. Black, white, gay, straight, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's just about Christ. And you could be a chain smoking, foul mouthed, but if in your heart you absolutely love Jesus, you talk to Jesus, you just try and be good, all of that stuff. That's where I started to see that all that church, the frou-frou of the church and the man-made stuff kind of got away from me. Now, I'm not like my partner here. My partner has his own stance that I'm sure he'll get into, maybe through these conversations.
No.
But
No.
I still love going to church. My church is a wonderful family to me. And it's certain people in the church. I don't know everybody, and I don't know everybody's stance on everything. But my people that I hang with at church are great people. And I don't go as much as I'd like to. I work every other weekend.
Yeah.
I live 45 minutes from my church, so it's not always the easiest to get there on a Sunday. But when I do go, I do love it. But I also know that if I'm not in church, it doesn't not make me a Christian.
Right.
So, so that's my little kind of rant on walking hand in hand with you there. Just looking at Reese, the lighting, your Harry Carey glasses.
That's good.
You kind of look like an album cover with
Thanks.
that.
Thanks, man.
You could go screenshot
in the back.
But I'm still wearing my work clothes. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I mean, I am too, but
good.
I can wear whatever I want. So
Not me. I'm wearing loungy clothes because I blew out my hammy.
Well,
I'm sorry, man.
I mean, I think it's interesting because, Cecil, do you go to church now? You can say no, because I don't.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
no. But I
can't remember when I became a Christian. I could be it was around this time, but I could tell you the day I decided to stop going to church, and I'm still a Christian. I remember
what year? 2013.
Yeah, I just don't want to go anymore. It is not edifying.
Yeah, that. But for me, so after college, I moved to Springfield, Missouri, and I was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna move to a big city, which is funny. Springfield, the third largest city in Missouri, and it's small. But moving there, I reached out to somebody that was a mentor whenever I went to church. That was good. I was like, hey, I want to go to church and I want to be upfront with them, and I don't want them to find out a secret later or whatever. And I remember being 18, 19, and one of my biggest concerns wasn't going to get drunk or going to get high. I was like, I want to find a church. I want to find a church. And I dated churches. I dated 5 churches in Springfield, and it was honestly fucking awful. I remember I sent out emails, and not to be negative, because there is a positive of this, but I sent out emails to churches, and they were like, there was this one preacher says, these are some ground rules. And it was like, there's going to be no PDA in my sanctuary. And I was like, what? What? No.
You're like, dang, I wanted to neck in the back pew.
That's literally exactly what I said in my mind. I was like, hey, am I going to neck? Am I going to neck somebody like right there, just the front of the church?
Yeah.
But no, so I got that. And I also was told that I could do any services with the church because I was like, I want to do like be in like a young adults like program. And they said I couldn't be in any of volunteer groups because I wasn't married. And then I had another groups tell me that I couldn't come to church if I, what was it? Oh, I couldn't volunteer with young adults or a youth.
Bro.
Guess why? But I was like, your youth pastor's probably on the fucking sex offender list already. Like
already.
Check him. But no,
how many Jesus he's shown himself to?
All of them. No, no. The thing about like church and like the debate of going back or not is like, and this is way deeper than what I'm about to say, but I do feel like how people go to church now and how like there's like competition within churches and also how people attend it. It's just very, 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 very culturally, and I hate, I don't even bring it up, but there's a certain level of white supremacy to it. Because a lot of family, like a lot of white people that are like, we're going to go to church. We're going to go to church. We're going to go to church. And you look back like 3 generations, it's because the dad had to go to KKK meetings after church. And I didn't know that until I was in my late 20s.
Oh, but, really?
Yes. Ask not your families, but I'm saying like ask some families. And if there's that generation that are still alive, it's a lot of churches, they uphold white supremacy with like racism. And it's not nowadays how it is. There's no KKK hats, but now it's like, let's do a clothes drive for the youth that go to church here that don't need clothes. Or let's raise money for somebody in our youth program that parents could get them a car, but they're going to get them the car. I don't know. It's like a keep the money within our culture thing too, I think too. It's like keep the money within it. So
it's like evangelical redlining.
Yeah. And that's another thing that's really weird to me about like going to churches, because like if I like now that I'm in St. Louis, the Black population is like pretty vast here, and if I know any of my Black coworkers, which aren't a lot, there's like 3 of them, they'll tell me you'll love it, it's diverse. And then in my mind I'm like, oh, Doa, you go there, like they let you in, like they'll let me in probably. But what's crazy is like you guys are like, oh yeah, because that's how it is. But there's a lot of like unspoken rules. There's a lot of like unspoken like, way of life. And like, I'm not saying you're white supremacists go to church. I'm saying like, and this is actually the point I'm trying to make. A lot of Christians proclaim that they are Jesus that they will never know, that they will never actually know, or even close to even kind of comprehending who Jesus was or his language or his literature or what he used to say in the Bible. And that's what makes me so resentful to people that still go to church. And no offense to you, Joe, but I wish I could still go to church. But the thing is I know so much now that I know the Christian faith. It will take, I think it will take like decades, but so whenever I was young, you guys probably know, like most youth that are LGBTQ like try to kill themselves. It's like 58%, which is crazy. And I was 14. I was seriously contemplating killing myself, and I put on a yacht answer saying, I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm a Christian. What do I do? I got sent a link to a movie, and it's called "For the Bible Tells Me So," and it is really fascinating. It is fascinating, and it helped me. Because earlier you guys were like, why are you still a Christian even though these people are fucking weird? I'm still a Christian because I know that the Bible in the Old Testament, and it's like 1944 and 1946, every time pedophiles were brought up, you know what it's changed to?
Homosexuals.
Yep.
Yes.
Every single written piece in the Old Testament, there is one verse that is still same sex, and it is in and I know my Bible. I read my Bible multiple times, like 4 times before I was 8. In one of the first books of the Bible, I cannot remember, but it's like the don't do shellfish, don't do whatever, 'cause it's an
Leviticus.
abomination. Yeah, Leviticus, it's an abomination to God. That means that if you would do that back in the day, you would die. Of course you would die if you had same sex 4,000 years ago. Duh. We didn't have toilets then. Like, I think that, and of course you would die because it's like uncleansed if you're not like prepped or riot ready or whatever, but that's the same for straight people. Like, you can't be out here having dirty sex no matter
Like
what the gender is.
Most of the Levitical law doesn't make sense anyway. You know,
It
it's
doesn't
just
make any
like
sense anyways.
it was
But for
just to
me,
set the Hebrew people apart.
yeah, so the Leviticus is like the pieces in that are all so weird. If you like the pig thing, there was like a weird pig disease that if you ate it, you died. So of course, like Christians like didn't, or people of faith didn't do that back then. And like,
Yeah.
and then, but there's more. There, almost every like account of homosexuals though are pedophile, and it should get changed back. Because all of the energy I think
Agreed.
that Christian faith gives to homosexual people, they need to be giving it to their deacons. They need to be giving it to their fathers of their homes that are around young children, and they can see it and they can tell. That's what makes me so angry. Because like, whenever I came out to my church, I think I was 16 going 17 after the deacon thing. I went to a different church for 6 months. I couldn't do it anymore. And our youth group's attendance went from like 80 to like 10 because I told every single fucking one of them what they did to me. And I said, don't go to church there anymore. It's not good.
That's pretty cool, man.
Because it's not good. And that happened
That's
though.
not
And the
good.
youth pastor begged me to bring them back and begged me to have the kid. And now that I'm older now, he's a groomer. And whenever I was 18, I started going back to that church and I was out, and that was strange. But it was like, just like a don't talk about it. Don't make it a big deal. Like if I like did something too feminine, like somebody would say something to me about it. But like thinking back on it now too, and it's like, in what reality the Jesus that you guys know, that you've studied or like been close to, would care this much about youth sexuality?
Exactly. Or any sexuality, any
At all.
sex, or anything having to do with sex, because it all existed then, and he said nothing.
Right. And then,
Like-
and a lot of the Christians though, so after the tornado, do you all know Westboro Baptist Church?
Yes.
They were at my graduation and they had huge signs that said fags caused the tornado. And it just like the craziest stuff. And that's what like broke my heart so much, because I was like, these people also believe in Jesus. There's
Yeah.
no way. There's
Yeah.
no way. But
Right.
then, but the
Hey,
thing
though-
is like, yeah, go ahead.
You know who else was at your graduation? President
The
Barack
king.
Obama. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out. Like, you went through a lot of shit, but how cool was that?
It was
I
cool.
also,
And what was,
I also want to point something out that gay people didn't cause a tornado. It's actually cool and warm air that
literally,
I mean,
no, I actually did
just,
this.
Yes.
I just was
Yeah,
too gay
I-
in it. It's fine. It started spinning.
Like the things outside
It's
the
called
car
voguing.
dealerships. Yeah.
Happy Pride.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I want to get back. I want to get back.
Yeah. Get back to
So
tornado
the-
stuff.
Good back to
well,
tornado
no,
stuff.
I want to get back to you, but the tornado, dealing with the tornado, it's kind of like the way that I've been thinking about this is like how people say the movie Rocky is such a great movie, but it really has nothing to do with boxing. That's what I think about this. Like when I watched this documentary, it's a tornado, but it had nothing to do with it was you. It was the storm that I heard that was in your life that culminated with this Joplin tornado. But your story, it could have been an entire documentary on you, and that's what drew me into it. So I want to hear about, you had already mentioned something about angels. I want to get to this point. I want to hear about this froyo starting to come apart, that there's no room for you in the bath. Like, tell me about, first, I want to know what's your favorite flavor at froyo, and if there's still one out there.
Cherry berry is amazing.
Cherry
There's
berry,
only,
yeah.
There's only like 2 in the country left. It's like red mango or something that was on one of the coasts. It like everything in Missouri, and I think your viewers will love this, is like anything that's in Missouri gets here like the last. Like it's like 15 years, and then
You're
we get
just
it.
getting clear Pepsi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just got
That's what's
stonewashed
in
jeans.
Literally. No, but like froyo coconut with Kit Kat is really good.
Oh, that sounds
But
good.
no, I loved that job. It was really cute. I only worked there 7 days though, and
Are you kidding?
there's more to this that's like very, very, very like spiritual, like Jesus, like God, Holy
Let's hear
Spirit.
it, man. Let's hear this.
So the yogurt shop was only not open 9 days. On the second day, I went to an opening of the yogurt shop, and I took pictures with friends because I'm like 17-year-old or 16-year-old, like I'm having fun with my friends. And the owner saw my picture online and messaged me, or actually messaged my mom because I was a kid, because that's what you would do appropriately as an adult.
Yeah,
Talk
if
to a
you're
kid, you
above
talk to their
board,
parents
that's
first.
what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, you talk to their parents first. But no, she talked to my mom and was like, "Hey, I really, does your son need a job?" And it was crazy because I did need a job. I was like, "Sure, whatever." And I started working there, and she said she hired me because of my smile, and it was one of the first things she told me. And she said that like something, and she told me this later, but she was like, something in my spirit told me to hire you. And I was like, okay, because I'm like 16, 17-year-old kid. I'm like, whatever, old lady, whatever. But she hires me. I start working. It's really fun. Everything's going good. Tornado happens. I like look. So there was 3 back rooms, and in the documentary, I think I talked about it. It was like 2 bathrooms and then like a storage room that was like external. So the family that like tried to run and then they came back, that family actually came over to the storage room and knocked, and they were like, "Can you please like keep my children safe?" And I was like, "Okay." And I was like a teenager, so sure. But I remember putting like a drywall above these like little kids' heads and being like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like as it's raining, and their
Oh my
parents are just like
gosh.
moving stuff and trying to get out the side door. But I get like before I get to the people to like knock down the doors to save the 19 people's lives that I saved,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Ding.
I did it through the power of God. Uh, but anyways, I looked through the store though, and I saw 2 like, so my ceilings at my house are high. It's like 11 or 12 feet. So the top of that window behind me is got 9 feet. That's how
Okay.
tall these things were. And it was just black figures. And they like, when I say black, I mean like a shadow. And they looked like muscular on the outside. I could not see them though. It was like pitch black, like as dark as my cup. But I could only see their outline. I couldn't tell if they were men or women. Like that wasn't even like part of it. It wasn't like their chest or their you know what I mean? Like their hips, whatever. It was just 2 like beings. So they were 9 feet tall. And in like kind of broken English, but like English that was very like direct. They were like, "Get the people out of this building or lives will be lost." And they were like, "Use the side door, go as quickly as you can." And it was like,
Really?
and it was like supernatural. It was like telepathic. I did not hear this. It was all like just to my mind. And I like connected to something on the other side, I think. And then after the 2, like I called them angels, but also they're kind of like aliens. There's way more to like the spiritual stuff in Joplin, but like after they like disappeared, like I saw them, I felt their message. It was so weird. And then I looked back like towards where the people were because I could hear them screaming. And then I like looked back towards the front. They were gone, of course, because they're fucking angels. But there was 2 workers that came from like, do you guys know what Cecil's is? You guys have
Yeah.
Cecil's there?
The pizza
they're-
place?
Yeah, the pizza place.
Yep.
So there was a Cecil's in the shopping mall, and 2 workers came running down, and they were like, "You have to get out of the building or it'll explode. There's a gas leak." So I think the angels were like warning me, like, "Hey," and then I saw those guys come down. It was so strange. But yeah, I let the people out of the back rooms. That was all crazy. I remember there was a lady that joked to me about like, yeah, getting frozen yogurt during like tornado, and I remember pulling her out of the rubble, and she's like, "I will never joke. I will never joke."
Oh my
about it
God,
again."
dude.
But she
So
also
at
like
that point, you're like
everything
digging
was over.
people out and like, get out
Yeah.
of here.
So angels, then the 2 workers from CC's, and then I got in the back, and thankfully, I played football like for 9 years growing up. So I mean, I still have pretty strong shoulders. So I just like busted down the doors and got them out. But it was so sad and strange. Like there was, I would guess like young teens girl there, and she didn't have shoes on because the pressure and the suction of the tornado like pulled her flip-flops off of her feet underneath her. And she was like a heavier set like girl, but she like got her flip-flops pulled off of her. So that was so bizarre. But I remember like looking towards the front of the store and being like, oh, this is an earthquake or like the rapture or something like all at once. And then I go out the side door and then I look at my car, which growing up, I grew up really, really, really poor. If that wasn't obvious in the documentary, I didn't even watch the documentary because I just have really bad PTSD. But I saw my car, it was a 2000 something, 2006 Sebring. I remember because I was 14, of course I remember, or 16, of course I remember. But it was like my favorite car I ever drove. I just paid cash for it like 3 months like before, and it looked like a crushed Pepsi can.
Oh my
like
gosh.
A Pepsi can. I was like this and then this. And I saw that and I just remember wailing. Like the way my body reacted was so weird. Because it was like very animal-like, and my mom's like military, my dad's kind of a wild man, but like everything's been kind of like regimented in my life. Like my mom always is like, don't get too loud, like don't like worry about how other people perceive you. So like whenever I did that, I just remember going like, and like it was so fucking loud. And then I looked down towards where my apartments were because the path of the tornado actually was like directly where my apartments were. So my apartments were less than a mile and a half from where I was. Yeah. And then as I looked like down the road, you could see Kansas. No exaggeration. Like how the tornado had destroyed the land. Like I could see to the other state.
Holy cow.
Crazy. Yeah. But that's when I wailed again because I thought my parents were dead. And like, I thought they were either dead or raptured. And I was like, I do not want to go to like an orphanage. I do not want to go to a shelter. Like, I like don't want to have to be displaced from my family. And then immediately after it happened, and like, this isn't, if you guys are preppers, if you guys are doomsday people, like, I don't judge you at all. But I do think it's funny how weird people get about FEMA and like the conspiracies, because like that affected me so much as a youth. Like, you're growing up in like that conservative, like Baptist, like kind of lifestyle. That whenever FEMA like set up, because after the tornado, it was within 15 minutes that our emergency response was, which I do think that it was weird how fast FEMA was there, but they have people filling out a role. And I remember being like, they won't know where I am. Like if this is the rapture, they are not going to know my name. They will not know who I am. But I was also
you're like, I saw that Kirk Cameron movie, Left Behind. They're not.
I read the books. I read all 48 kids' books.
Oh my gosh.
I was groomed by those fucking authors. But like they messed up my mind a little bit. But like I didn't sign in with FEMA though, and my family thought I was dead for a week.
Oh geez.
Like they didn't think I was dead for a week. They saw me. They was like visibly there, but I would be reported on a missing child's list every night for a week. And my mom had to see that every night.
Oh my gosh.
So my mom would like, and by this point we were displaced because like after the tornado, like I lived with my brother and his wife, and my mom lived with her, with my sister and her husband and their kids. But like we were displaced. So like I was 17. I like was newly gifted like PTSD, like as intense as like a soldier. And then also my parents don't live with me now. And it was just like there's a lot of stuff that happened like the day of the tornado that like I didn't talk about on the documentary. Like, I don't know if I talked about it, but I walked across Joplin for 6 hours. So the tornado happened at 4 and I wasn't reunited with my family until 10:30. And I saw a woman with her arms covered in blood. And she just ran out of her house and she was like, "Why would you do this to me, God?" And I remember, because I was a little smart ass kid, I was like, "He didn't do this. The tornado did." I was like, a storm
You're
did.
like,
I yelled
it's
that
because of cool air and warm.
I'd start doing this again.
You're just going around the city like trying to tell them the science of how a tornado works. It's not God, it's the warm air goes in the.
No, but like the thing about PTSD and trauma, and the reason I'm like so invested in what I do now is because like the kindest, I feel like the most sincerely Christian folks are people that take time to like listen, like you guys. I think that's so awesome that you even asked me to be on this. I think it's great because like you don't know what a community feels like, or you don't know what a community is going through unless you listen to the community. And like it's the 2nd of June, and we all know what June is. Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And Pride. But no,
Just so you know, we didn't know that when we planned you for this.
Yeah.
It's not like we were like, what should we do for Pride Month? Let's have Cecil.
We're
Like,
getting him on here right now.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah, it just happened to work out. But
Yeah, it did. No, and one thing that I just like, if anybody is listening to this that wants to like do more like research for themselves, like For the Bible Tells Me. So it's a really good, really awesome, well put together documentary. It talks to like clergymen. Most of the people they talk to are like religious or like they're Christ believers. It's not like trying to get you to not believe in God, but it's actually trying to get gay people to be like, no, God still loves you. Like, don't listen to these people. God loves you.
That's awesome.
And then there's another documentary called it's either 1944 or 1946, but that movie just recently came out. I was able to go to one of the first showings of it in Joplin. I had a queer support group that I helped run. And we had a movie night, and it was that, and it was so sad and scary, but it was also super informative. Like, I was 30 years old, and I didn't realize that shock therapy was around like even 40 years ago. I thought it was like 180 years ago. No, it was like kind of recent.
Yeah.
But like there are so many things though that like I think Christians, like if you do it, because I feel like anytime Jesus had anything happen in the Bible, he came to whatever it was like a child, like how he tells us to come to him, and it's like with questions and like curiosity and like just like wanting to know more, like a hunger for knowledge kind of. And with the queer community, I feel like it's like a lot of, and I'm not saying you guys, but a lot of people hear gays and they're like, ooh, furries, ooh, they shit in litter boxes. Like I've literally heard like some of the things like on talk radio, like on accident, and I'm like, what the fuck? No, like we don't even claim furries. Like I don't know a gay person's like furries. Like they're cool. Like I have a friend that's furry, but like I'm not. That's not part of the flag. You know what I mean? Like
I was gonna ask, which stripe was that on the flag?
None of them. None of them.
But no, it's not going on there. Okay, fine.
Being furry and then being a furry is different. But I just think it's great to learn about like the community and like just like how you guys are doing. I feel like it's great to just learn more about like the people
man,
feel so like estranged from God, because like that's what's so crazy to me as like the church nowadays. And I don't want to rant, but you said that this is what it's for. I think it's so crazy that like the mega churches in America, especially, they like only serve very affluent white people, mostly white people. I would say just affluent people in general, but it's usually white people. But like, it's like, that is literally the fucking opposite of what Jesus would ever want. You know how Jesus like flipped the tables? He would pop every tire every Sunday service every fucking weekend.
Straight up.
And that's why I think it's weird that like so many Christians are like against like protest or like that's what boggles my mind, is because like in my mind, my parents are socialists. That's a whole other fucking thing. But my mom, like I was raised on Planned Parenthood's good. Jesus is good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like things that now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh no, Christians do not like that. Or like these people like do not like Christians for whatever reason. And that's one thing I'm fortunate to have the like kind of weird, kind of radical upbringing I did, is because like I think, and it's not that I like think I'm better than like other Christians. I know I'm better than other Christians because like the stuff I've gone through, the stuff I've had, like most kids that are in youth groups aren't 14 years old and they're trying to kill themselves, and that like because of something that like 6 other adults have told them like in a group. Like that's not something that's super common. And like,
but look at what you're doing with it, though. I mean, like, like your whole life is just helping people.
That's all I
saved
ever
19 people
Yeah.
from a tornado, saw angels, like saved everybody, and you're still like saving people. You're helping
the
people.
work I do is awesome. So since December, we have housed 60 kids.
Bro.
Oh, wow.
In the St. Louis metro area.
I
love that,
cool.
though.
That's so cool.
Because I want to be there for
working for organizations like that, where the harder you work, the more people get helped, as opposed to the harder you work, the guy who owns it makes more money. Buys another boat, buys another house. Yeah. I love, like, I grew up, I worked for my church was the Salvation Army, and I worked for the Salvation Army.
I love the Salvation Army.
And I loved that the harder that I worked for them, more people were able get help, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I love that. It's interesting hearing the last part that you talked about. So my wife, again, you've heard my upbringing, who I am.
Yeah.
My wife was not raised in the church. My wife she claims to be atheist. She goes to church with me. She loves hearing like the messages, you know, the concept of you know, just loving people and just being a good person. She loves that. And so having her in my life has made me realize that the like Christian bubble that I lived in for so long and just kind of heard stuff and went with it. And then I meet Heidi and she challenges those things and says, well, if your God like loves people, like why this or why that, whatever the topic is. And it's made me think like, yeah, you're absolutely right. And so it's like every step of my life, everything that's fallen down, like I said, the veil torn away when I was 34. Now I meet her later on. It's like God just has this path that when I was 18 years old and the lead singer of the Insiders and going around and playing, you know, clubs and Christian pep rallies and all these different things that I just, at that point when I was 18, I thought, I'm a Christian. I'm a good Christian. I know it all. Done.
Right.
Like I've reached the pinnacle of my my being a follower of Christ. And now being 48, looking at who I was when I was 18, I'm embarrassed by it. And knowing what's fallen away, knowing I've come through, like the storm, the fire that I've walked through and come out on the other side closer to Jesus, sounding the same as you, that all this other stuff just peels away. What we deal with on earth and our lives and who we are as a people, like that's who Jesus loves.
Right.
That's who Jesus loves. Reese and I talk about it on this show. I had an epiphany a couple of months ago. And this might have been a no duh to most people, but for me, a 48-year-old white guy, living north of Detroit, it finally clicked with me that the Bible isn't a history book, and it's not really a handbook for life. It's simply a book that speaks on the relationship between you and your creator, you and Jesus.
Yeah.
So I don't go to the Bible to know how old the earth is. I don't go to the Bible to know who built the pyramids. I don't go to the Bible to know if aliens exist. That's not what that book's about. That book is simply the relationship between me and my creator, and me being the person who he created and my relationship with him, not the person who society or my church thinks I should be, just simply me and my relationship. And that's what I think is amazing. I do have a question for you. Are you scared of storms?
I'll give you the range. So my PTSD is very interesting. So if it can be as clear, blue out, beautiful day, if the wind picks up, it's the way it feels on my skin. It's not here, it's here. Like I'm not scared, I get scared.
You
Sometimes
get like a panic attack, or
like I'll shake, like or like it just like makes my body feel like tense. Like one time I was at a picnic with friends and sunny out, wasn't gonna storm, and the wind just started picking up, and they were like, "Ah, it feels so good." And I just remember being like my neck back and like, like, have you ever seen Stranger Things? Whenever the kids like, oh, like that, my eyes, my head. But honestly, if it rains, I love it. If it thunders, I love it. If it lightnings, I love it. I love storms. That's kind of like in the last like 14 years that it's been since it happened, I have slowly learned to love storms again in a way that I think is like natural. And like, I think that everybody's supposed to like love storms. But if there is a tornado watch or a tornado warning, I get really, really, really serious. I don't get anxious anymore. I get serious. So if I know I'm going to be in the path of anything, I have a plan. And it's not like I got a box with a generator and like a plane foot or whatever. It's like a go to the basement or like get in. Like one thing, if you guys are ever in a tornado in the Midwest or where you guys are, you can go in there under a gas station pump, and that'll like mostly keep you safe. Like if it's hailing, like I actually had to do that 2 weeks ago. So tornadoes follow me. So St. Louis hasn't had tornadoes like they've had like now for like I think 20 years or something like that. And there was 3 supercells that hit 3 different communities: Clayton, University or Webster Groves, and then also downtown. And those are like big like metro areas, tons of
A
houses.
tornado hit downtown.
3 tornadoes hit St. Louis.
What?
It's
The
me. It's literally
documentary, the documentary says that one in every 5,000 storms produces a 5,000 or 500.
I don't know.
5,000.
I don't know that
One
number.
in every
Sounds right.
5,000 storms produces a tornado. So to have 3 drop down, yeah, you are the
So
independent
weird.
Really a
variable.
tornado
My-
magnet?
My coworkers all say that if they're around me, they know it's a 75% chance more likely for a tornado to be there. I was like, what about the other 25? Why doesn't it just 100? And they say,
Oh my gosh.
it's to make me not feel so bad.
Well, Cecil, we have kept you for an hour. Reese, do you have any more questions?
No, man. I just want to say thank you so much for talking to us, and
Awesome.
just you're so encouraging. It is so great to talk to you and just hear how you are, like, you're just full of Christ's love, and you're sharing it with kids, and you're helping people. I love that your takeaway message from the way that you grew up and the way that Christians treated you or the way the church treated you was still to love and not to get bitter. And your takeaway message, like from a tornado, from almost dying, was like still doing that.
Yeah.
So, 2 things. Growing up, my dad always told me, like dads have like a quote or like a saying. I'm probably going to get it tattooed on me eventually, but my dad would always say, like, if we saw something like silly or goofy or something that was like weird or anything like out of the ordinary, my dad would always say, it takes all kinds. And then he would say that, and he would know, I would know, to make the world go round. And sometimes my dad would tell me, like, he'd look at me and he'd say, it takes all kinds. And then I'd say, to make the world go round. But that's something that
Absolutely.
that like my dad's always given me, and I know. So one thing that this is kind of exclusive, like for whoever's listening to this, is the first time I'm publicly talking about it. I'm actually starting a book series. And it's probably, I think it's going to be coming out around Christmas of this year, but it'll be the first book, and I'm actually going to do a 3-part book series.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
people can know more about what happened and in detail, and more like passionate, and also can hear about my story more. Like I'm still very like early in the writing process, but I've already wrote the prologue and I've already started on like the first chapter. But like it's gonna be stories about me when I was young. It's gonna be stories that I think a lot of people can connect to, like dealing with my dad. He had substance abuse disorder. He's alcoholic. He's still an alcoholic, but he doesn't drink anymore. But my dad always says, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Whatever.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Like
Heck yeah.
the first story though, like going into like the book is like you never forget like the first storm you go through, and it's just kind of a retelling of me being like 4. Like that's how the book opens. It's me being like 4 and watching Jay Leno with my dad in '97, like while my dad just chills on the couch and it's late at night, and that's like, and my dad comforted me in the way he was there for me. It was really great. Like and I'll talk about stuff like that, more emotional things, but also there's things that I haven't really talked to you guys about yet, but like the response I have from people, or is actually why I'm writing the books. I get countless people from all over the world that message me, and it's things that are like intense. It's like, there's a guy that's 62 and he's going to come out to his family, and he is a preacher. There's a guy that's in his 50s that's from Florida, and he has 2 lesbian daughters, and he said that he never wanted to ever talk to them about that part of their lives until he saw me on Netflix, which to me is crazy. Like,
It is crazy.
So
because
cool.
whatever he was picking up, I picked. Like, there's something different. I can't tell you the other people's names. I can't tell you. Their whole deal. It was you. So what was going on with you, and what vibe you were putting out? People picked up on that, and I just
Nice.
as Reese thanked you. I'm a 48-year-old, 6'5", 270-pound bald cop, and I just want to tell you, brother. I just want to tell you, brother, I love you. And what you're doing, again, is just fantastic. If you ever come up to Michigan, if you're up here for a conference or anything, feel you have my contacts. Feel free to give me a call. You got a place to crash, to do laundry, to have a beer.
Awesome.
Whatever you need, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I live in Virginia, and you're welcome. Like, I live 2 hours from D.C. in the Shenandoah Valley, and you're welcome, man.
Where at?
In the Shenandoah Valley.
I live on Shenandoah Avenue.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, right, connection.
How weird.
Well, Cecil, we have to have you back. If there's a ton more stuff, write that stuff down. Say, I want to talk about this, and we got to have you back. I don't want to take any more of your time.
Yeah, you guys are good. Yeah.
And we got to have you back, and so we can do a part 2 of this.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2 for sure. There's also stuff about Obama that you guys are bringing up Obama. I'd love to tell your audience about Obama.
Save it. Okay. Save it. We'll do it on the next one. We'll plan it to do the next one.
Nice.
I am going to tell you right now, when we stop, Reese is going to stop it. Don't leave, because computer has to do computery stuff or we lose all your audio.
Can I hit my vape now?
You could have hit it during it. He's drinking. Man. I'm normally drinking, but I stopped. But
all right. Thanks, everybody.